Are the Eagles mid without the play? Going back to the NFL, are the Eagles actually a good team without the play? You know what play I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one where they come up to the line and everybody in the whole freaking stadium and everybody watching on TV and everybody out on the street and everybody who's ever been to Pennsylvania ever and everybody who's ever been anybody ever knows exactly what they're going to do. They're going to hike the ball and they're going to push Jalen Hurts forward 1 yard, and they convert it pretty much every time on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. Look, they've played the Vikings. All right. So I'm going to tell you, it is incredibly frustrating to watch them actually get 4 downs to get a first down. And it's a game changer. And I'm looking at their games, and I think there's a good case to be made for the fact that maybe they're not winless, maybe they don't suck, but they're mid. They are mid without the tush push. What do you think?
I guess mid would mean around 500.
Around
I mean, that's
500.
like the definition.
I think that's exactly where they are. They're around 500 without it.
Have they had the bye yet? What are they sitting at?
They're sitting at 6 and 1.
6 and 1.
Yeah, let me make my case for you. Let me make my case. Yeah. Dolphins, they win that game either way. They won 31-17. They lose to the Jets.
Yeah, we'll give them that one already.
Yeah. Rams 23-14. They win that game without the tush push. Commanders 34-31 in overtime. No tush push, no win. Commanders beat them.
Yeah.
All right. Now next. Buccaneers 25-11. They win that game without the tush push. Vikings 34-28, 1-score game. They lose that game without the tush push. In the game-winning drive, they used it like 2 or 3 times. They used it a number of times. That was like very frustrating, right?
Twice on that.
They lose to the Vikings without the tush push. Patriots 25-20, lose it without the tush push. I think they lose. So right now, so that puts them at 1 loss, 2 losses, 3 losses with the Jets. They're 4-3. They're mid without the tush push. That's my position.
All those games you outlined, I mean, maybe barring the Vikings, but all those are not great teams.
That's the other thing, is not only are they mid, but their losses are like bad losses.
When those
they're like the Bills. What are we talking about with the Bills right now? Like, they're barely making the playoffs. They're in 7th. They're 4-3, and they're losing to crappy teams like the Patriots and the Jets. That's who the Eagles are. They would also have lost to the Patriots and the Jets.
Yeah, those are the same teams. And the Commanders you said in there, like these are
Commanders.
And even the Vikings
Commanders almost beat them with the tush push.
Let's not forget how much everybody just turned around on the Vikings. And I'm not saying that wasn't worth doing, but like, if we would have talked about this 2 days ago, we would have said, and the Vikings, they're awful too. You know, like teams at the time that were not riding the confidence.
Look. And I want to clarify something here, because some Poppin' Fresh just said something in our chat on Playback. He said, why people so mad about the tush push? Other teams can do it. Go ahead and do it. I'm not mad about the tush push. I'm just saying Travis Kelce and Jordan Mailata are essentially why the Eagles are winning games. Like, without those two, this is a mid team, which is crazy to say. 2 offensive linemen are like the core of your team. And what are we going to do when Travis Kelce retires? The man's 572 years old. Like, he can't play center forever.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to not be good anymore.
Okay. So to answer Poppin' Fresh, I believe who you said, why are they so upset about the tush push? It's because everybody can sense that it's going to get changed in the rule book. They're going to change something to make it at least tweaked. Because it's just not, the real answer is it's not as exciting to watch. It's not fun for the average, and especially in this kind of year where there's so many new NFL fans, and that's been a trend, big trend. You know, props to the NFL. They're collecting a huge audience.
Maybe real quick, in case somebody doesn't know, let's say exactly what the tush push is.
Yeah. Tush push, brotherly shove. It's this play that Philadelphia has just taken upon themselves to master. The other teams try to do, but they can't do it nearly as well. It's great for about 1 to 2 yards. It's essentially a quarterback sneak that is extra physical and extra forward facing. And it's all about height and getting low and essentially turning your quarterback into this like fullback-esque type of player with your offensive lineman absolutely diving forward into the players in front of them.
O-line dives forward.
And everybody behind the quarterback pushes him from behind.
That's what's different about it than a quarterback sneak. Quarterback sneaks, the quarterback runs, tries to get what Philly does is they use the 2 running backs in the backfield to actually literally push the quarterbacks,
which changes everything. It changes forward. It changes. Yeah. That's why it's the real reason that other teams
they make themselves a Jalen Hurts sandwich basically, and he gets a yard.
Yeah, the real reason that other teams can't run it as well is because they don't have. First of all, they don't have a quarterback that weighs like 250 and is just this massive rock of a dude.
Yeah, and
But
it's the
mainly
combination that the 2 offensive linemen.
it's the
and
2 offensive linemen for me that are the secret ingredient. I mean, that's some elite line play stuff that when you know you have to summon it on a given snap. I think that the guys who have the technique and the power, just like the perfect offensive lineman in the league and the experience, that they can manipulate that every single time. There's not a player who can counter that. It's impossible to counter because they have the angle. Like even if it's a tie, the Eagles win that tie because Hurts is he's bigger than most linebackers. So that's who we would run into on the other end.
We saw an interesting counter last night from the Niners.
I was going to bring
the
this
Vikings.
Up too.
The Vikings tried the tush push. Fred Warner front flipped over the line, jumped the snap, so he could have been called. It
wasn't
offsides.
A full-on flip, but it was cool.
It was. Hey, come on, let's go down narrative street a little. He front flipped over the line and kicked Kirk Cousins in the face backwards 10 yards.
Yeah, and he stole his lunch money.
Freaking straight Mortal Kombat at him. No, like flipped over the line. He jumped the snap. He could have been called offsides. That's on the Vikings for not hard counting. But yeah, I mean, jumped the snap perfectly and countered it. Wouldn't have worked with Jalen Hurts. He's too big, too strong. And the Philly has just like perfected it. Kirk Cousins is not big. Like,
I can't wait to test that theory.
I can't even believe they tried it with Kirk Cousins. Dude's ribs already are like, like a well beaten steak.
I can't wait to see them try to counter that because it does feel like a very Niners thing to even more so than just winning as many games as possible. It feels like a Kyle Shanahan thing to take pride in schematically taking away this like revolutionary play from the team that made it happen. That feels like he would be like, no, I'm the guy who ended that shit, because somebody will figure out how to do it. Otherwise, I mean, if the Eagles should hope somebody figures out how to stop them, sort of, because then they can make a case it belongs to stay in the sport. Otherwise, the competition committee, everybody's been saying it, that we're being primed. If you're not aware that you're being primed right now for a rule to change, like you're not paying attention because they're saying it a dozen times every single Eagles game. I almost said Phillies. How are they doing, by the way?
Phillies are down 4-2.
Fake news. Fake news.
That's not true.
I don't believe that.
End of the 7th. Okay. Let's wrap this up. All right, Casey. Couple things for you. First of all, tush push, illegal next year or illegal soon, or remains legal and remains a weapon that can be utilized by any team in the league. What do you think?
Will be the current version that they're running will be outlawed to some degree. Yeah, it'll be
okay.
Yeah.
Next thing, Eagles. What's their record if they are not so good at that one single play?
We wrote down just like a loose outline of these topics, and I fully came prepared to say like, nah, man, they're really good. They're an above 500 team, Eagles. No matter what. They're above average at least. Not gonna lie, you kind of convinced me. You convinced me a little bit. I think they'd be within a game of 500. I do think you build on losses the same way you build on wins. So losing a game to the Commanders,
that's a tough one.
I don't think you necessarily look as and also the Patriots and also the Jets and also.
Let me put it this way: you lose a game to the you're 4-3, and your 3 losses are or would it be 3-4? Did I count it up as 3-4 because they would have lost to the Jets, the Commanders, and the Patriots and the Vikings? They'd be 3-4. So maybe they'd be 4. Maybe they go one way on one of those games. 4-3, 3-4. I'm just saying, you lose a game to the Commanders after being, or you lose a game to the Patriots, your locker room is not the same after that.
Yeah. No.
You drop games to the Eagles and Vikings or the Patriots and Vikings in back-to-back weeks, your locker room is not the same after that.
Yeah. I mean, not just seeing what I want to see in every situation here, but do the Niners even lose to the Vikings if they didn't just come off of a loss to the Browns that made them look and feel bad?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, some teams you like the revenge game. Usually I would say I like the revenge game for the Niners.
Right.
I don't like primetime Kirk, but yeah, I mean, look, I think that it affects the locker room big time when you realize you're mortal. It's a real thing.
It's not even just like
somebody can punch you in the face and it hurts. That's a real thing.
It's not even just what changes within you. Now the secret is out on how to stop you. So other
Yeah.
teams, guess what? They spend a whole week preparing for this shit. They're gonna, if there's a team that beat you and there's a way to figure out how they beat you, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna try.